What's up, fine folks? Welcome to Had to Check, episode 27 of Double Tapped. I'm Jay.
I'm Tanner.
And I'm just going to let the folks out there know I'm a little jittery.
Yeah, okay.
I'm shaking a little bit.
Yeah, do you want to go down your,
Had a
your
venti
coffee tail?
Salted caramel cold foam cold brew from the Starbucks this morning. Well, it wasn't even this morning. It was like noon.
Okay.
And what I didn't realize is that means that there's a difference between salted caramel cold foam and vanilla sweet cream cold foam, because with the caramel there is no sweet cream.
Right.
So I pretty much just had a giant ass cold brew.
Just a big black coffee.
I'm a little shaky.
Yeah.
But that means I'm focused.
I'm fine.
I've got my radar senses on.
Yeah.
And we've also got some leftover brews from when we were streaming the Game Awards.
That's right. If you didn't see that, I didn't upload it anywhere because it was not a great show. I'm sure we'll get into that later.
We will talk about it. But these are Kentucky Ale Irish Reds, a good brewery from the Bluegrass State, and a classic fall-ish beer.
I was trying I was trying to see how long I could Vanna White for there.
I could have vamped for a little longer, but I always wanted to take a drink.
Yeah, no, it's good. Solid.
A little hoppy, a little folly,
yeah, a little
malty.
Got a little amuse bouche to it.
Okay. Tanner, what have you been playing this past few days?
Not a whole ton.
Yeah.
You and I played Call of Duty.
You're damn right we did.
With a couple of our buddies, which was really, really fun.
It was hilarious.
And one of the funniest just like gaming nights I've had in a while. I'm sure we'll get into that at some point. But I've also been playing, I know I always say I've been playing 2K, but I have actually been working towards something in 2K that I think is interesting. So in 2K, there are a couple of modes. There's like the My Career mode where you make a guy and, you know, he's a shooting guard and then you go play through the NBA, whatever. There's also My Team, which is like the trading card style mode. A lot of sports games. I think I've talked about this a couple times on the pod, but
pioneered by the likes of like MLB The Show. Right?
Yeah, and then like Madden Ultimate Team, FIFA has one. They all have this kind of thing, which is basically you start out with a very bare bones team. The more modes you play, the more games you play, the more games you win. You get cards that'll help you upgrade your team. So like you can get a card of Devin Booker, but you also could get a card of like Bob McAdoo. Like the age ranges are really cool, so you can play with basically like this all-time conglomerate team. What I've been working toward is there is something called the cover challenge. So Luka Doncic is the cover athlete this year for 2K. And in order to unlock like the cover version of Luka's card, which is super strong, you have to do 15 different challenges. So one of them is like, you know, play so many games of this mode, play so many games of this mode, play so many games of this mode. The hardest one, which I just did last night, finally finished, is complete all of the spotlight challenges. So 2K has one cover athlete in Luka, but it actually has three. It does that thing where like the collector's edition has
like alternate covers.
Yeah, has Dirk as the cover, and then another edition has Kareem as the cover, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So you go through, and then also KD's involved for some reason. You go through like you play against Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's best teammates, and then you play against his best team, and then you play against the team where he scored the most points in his career, and then you play like it's that kind of thing. And then once you complete all 5 of Kareem's, you do all 5 of KD's, then you do all 5 of Dirk's, then you do all 5 of Luka, and then the last thing is you play a game of 3-on-3 with your 3 best players, and then Luka, Kareem, and Dirk on the other team. It is very fun. It's or maybe it's Luka, Durant, and Dirk. Super fun mode. They're really hard because not only do you have to beat these teams, there are also subset challenges you have to hit. So like, you know, one of them is like record a triple-double with one player while you beat them. Yeah. And that's hard in a game where like the quarters are 5 minutes long. You probably get 10 possession each quarter, so you really have to maximize one particular player. So I finally finished those last night. So now all I have to do is play a certain amount of online mode games, of a different online mode games, and then complete the set of a 2022 team. Yeah. So that's all I have left, and I will have cover Luka. Gotcha. So that's been my main goal. I've also played a little bit of Civ again. Civ 6 is just one of those games that I come back to every now and then. Yeah. But outside of that, and then like Hitman, doing more challenges there. I think that's all I've played. Yeah,
because for me, it's just been all Call of Duty all the time.
Yeah.
Hitting it a few days after work, and then yes, we had our probably about a three-ish hour
something
binge
like that
the other night of us and the boys. And it was just so funny because I will admittedly say I had not been performing up to my Call of Duty standards in the last few weeks, and I'm like starting to think, I'm like, am I getting old? Or am I losing it? Like, what's going on?
Am I fading out?
And then part of that, was alleviated the other night. And I'm not like, I gave this theory to you. One of our friends was literally a level 1 when we jumped in and were matchmaking. So my theory when that happens is always that they'll matchmake us against lower level people to sort of level the playing field.
Sure.
If that's the case, when that happened, and Tanner bore witness that we were cracked.
Oh yeah,
and I was more cracked than I'd been this whole first month or so of Call of Duty.
You were rolling. Yeah, there was one game. I think we talked about this the other day. There was one game where I think our team combined had like 85 kills, and you had like 55, and I had like 34 or something. We basically had almost accounted for the entire the game, or it was kill confirmed. We had 85 confirms, and you and I had like 90 kills or something.
Oh yeah, that one game I didn't care if I was running right into the line of fire. If I killed somebody, I'm running for their tag.
Yeah. That's the way you have to play it. Yeah.
And my KD going into that night was 0.93, so I had been negative thus far, and it went in that course of just a few hours up to like 1.04.
Right.
So I was like more than happy to get back on the positive side. And my philosophy is that I don't really care about going positive or negative on a game by game basis.
Sure.
I just want to pad my KD to where I no longer have to worry too much about it.
You'll be paused.
Yeah. So in the long term.
Right.
And that going a long way makes me want to do it again.
Yes.
We got some free time coming up here in the next few weeks. Hopefully we'll have several other sessions
it was
akin
super fun.
to that.
It was really
maybe
fun.
we can get everybody back in one room like the good old days
once
or twice.
Yeah, that'd be really
We'll
fun.
see about it. But on to the news, of which I've really only got 2 stories.
All right.
And the first story involves many stories, and we watched this whole debacle the other night.
Okay.
The first story is simply the Game Awards.
Oh.
Big winners and announcements.
So this is not the big topic.
No.
Okay.
This is not.
Gotcha. Good. Because this show was not good.
Yeah, we could go on like a long diatribe critiquing the show.
Sure.
But, we'll save that for another day. And those of you who watched us live, the select few who were granted access to this, now lost stream.
If the VOD is still there, if you want to go back and watch it.
You caught our thoughts in real time, and they were not very positive.
No, it was weird because the start was pretty strong, at least momentum wise. Like,
I would say the first hour was very strong.
Yeah, there were some really interesting reveals. Wonder Woman got a trailer, which we didn't know was happening.
I'm going to go through all of them.
Oh, okay, sorry. So just in general broad terms, then the pacing was pretty good for the first hour, and then fell off a cliff the next 2.
Just nosedive.
And the fact the show is 3 hours, this is something I'm sure we'll get into.
Yeah. So the first step, we're just going to go through the announcements. Okay. And then we'll hit the big award winners.
Yeah.
Certainly not all the award winners.
No. No.
But big announcements. And this is courtesy of Polygon and Nicole Carpenter, who is, I didn't realize, on Twitter @SweetPotatoes.
What an ad.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's sick.
Because there's no spaces, there's no underscores, just @SweetPotatoes.
That's amazing.
Fantastic. Good on you, Nicole. So, big announcements, or at least big trailers that we got to witness things for the first time.
Yeah.
In the order that she has them: Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. We got to see a gameplay trailer. Looks cool.
Looks fun, looks hectic, looks chaotic, all in good ways.
Very much so.
Looks very different and way more arcadey than, so this is Rocksteady, the people who did the Arkham games. Looks way more arcadey than Arkham, but you can still tell there's a little bit of that like level design, like hordes of enemies type thing. I'm really curious not only to see how that game plays. It looked like they were switching real time between characters, but I don't know if that was
some degree. Yeah.
I don't know if that was for the sake of the trailer, if that's what the gameplay is going to be like. But I'm interested to see how that works, how you control all 4 characters. And I'm also just very intrigued by this story because the story seems super cool and super fresh. And I really like the direction it's going. So,
well, one thing I hadn't considered, because this trailer was focused on the Flash as sort of the big bad.
Yeah.
And we've seen, like, in the first trailer, they teased Superman.
Right.
We've seen teases of Wonder Woman, and they have spoken teases of Green Lantern, I believe. Is Batman going to be in this game?
I wondered that too. Is this...
We've heard nothing about it. So is this a canonical continuation of the Arkham series?
Are we allowed to spoil the Arkham series? Like, this is going to be super interesting.
Yeah, it's a question that is up for debates.
Sure.
Especially considering that we also have Gotham Knights that is also picking up where Arkham Knight left
Right,
off
yeah.
to a certain extent. So, but cautiously, I don't even want to say cautiously. I'm pretty optimistic about this game.
Yeah, me too. I mean,
I think
like,
it looks fun.
the worst Rocksteady game that I've played was Arkham Knight, and even then, that game was pretty good.
It had awesome elements,
Right,
And
so
just some bad
it'll
ones.
be worth the play, I think.
as long as there's no Batmobile in
Right.
Suicide Squad.
There's no Harley car.
Hold on. What if you get to fight the Batmobile?
Carly Quinn.
That's a real person's name, almost assuredly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I forgot Carly was just a person.
What if the Batmobile has just been on autopilot, like ever since Arkham Knight?
it's like a-
just patrolling the city,
like a Justice Roomba?
yeah. And then Brainiac just hacks it, and it's just roaming the city.
That's awesome.
We get to fight just the Batmobile.
I would be down for that.
That would be some good karmic revenge.
Yeah. Karmic, huh?
Hey. Next announcement: Star Wars Eclipse. Comes courtesy of Quantic Dream.
This was the wildest, like, 30-second roller coaster I've been on in trailers for a while. Because we knew, okay, I think it starts with, like, Lucasfilm logo. So we're like, okay, odds are it's Star Wars. We know, like, Lucasfilm has worked on other stuff.
I guess it could have been the Indiana Jones game in retrospect, but
yeah, but, like, there was definitely, like, a sci-fi element even to the very beginning of it. So, like, okay, this is Star Wars. And then I think you're more akin to noticing this kind of stuff of like eras in Star Wars.
Sure.
You're like, I'm not sure what time period this is. And it turns out it's the first video game set in the
High Republic era, so like the
There you go.
pre-prequels era.
right, when everything was like kind of okay.
Yeah.
So first video game set there. So that's why everything was like, is this Star Wars? Okay, yeah, it's definitely Star Wars. And all of the visuals were kind of cool. It was a little over the top, but I mean, for a trailer, that's not the worst thing you can be. And then we were just waiting to see who the developer was. Like the whole,
Considering that there's always like 4 Star Wars games in development.
yeah, the whole trailer was obviously building up to some reveal.
Yeah.
And we were like, is it KOTOR? But they said it was a new game. Is it Jedi Fallen Order 2? Like, what is this going to be? Like, is the reveal going to be Cal turning around and, oh, it's Jedi Fallen Order 2? No, the reveal was that it's Quantic Dream working on this game. And now I don't know how I feel about any of it.
Me neither, because I don't know that I want a typical Quantic Dream style game set in the Star Wars universe.
Like, will there be combat?
I hope so. That's the thing. I want them to. I don't care about them bringing in the typical like branching story elements.
That's fine.
But I want there to be legitimate gameplay.
Right.
If it's going to be a Star Wars game, and I think it was described as an action adventure game.
Okay.
Which implies that there's going to be more to it. I think.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to call it that, not calling it just an adventure game
What is Detroit defined as?
beats the hell out of me.
Okay, I'm gonna look
Surely, okay, I'm going to guess. Surely Detroit is going to be just adventure, maybe role-playing game. I don't know.
Just adventure.
Adventure, yeah. When I hear adventure, that implies no like
Choices.
kinetic combat or anything. That's just you're sort of exploring whatever.
So yeah, and there was like, I mean, I played all the way through Detroit. I think it's fine. There were some parts of it I really liked, some parts of it I didn't like very much at all. But it was a worthwhile experience. I just wonder, because they do a little, it's not combat necessarily, but it's like QTs, right?
Sure.
Like there's a chase scene and do you go through this door or this door? You know, it's that kind of thing.
And it's the kind of thing that if you fail, it doesn't reset. It just progresses the story a different way.
Right, yeah, like maybe you get caught instead of escaping or whatever. So that in itself like would be interesting in a game with Star Wars combat, but I don't know if I want that to be the only gameplay of a Star Wars game.
I agree. Very much so. Next game, Wonder Woman,
Yeah.
courtesy of Monolith, the folks behind the Shadow of Mordor series.
Right.
Which
This is
also
exciting.
saw they are bringing the Nemesis system into this game.
That's cool.
Don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah,
Sounds
me
cool
neither.
though.
Yeah, that instantly makes me curious of who we're fighting.
Yeah. Whether it's going to be like a group of villains or like one villain with minions.
Yeah, like a
Maybe like
horde
Ares
situation.
and his like army, something
Right.
like that.
Yeah. I'm interested. I think this is cool. I'm all for more properties making their way to video games, and Wonder Woman. Is this the first ever standalone Wonder Woman game?
Yeah, to my knowledge.
I mean, I would not be shocked if there was some PS2
like a
Wonder
side,
Woman
or
game.
even like a side-scrolling beat 'em up from back in the day.
like an
but
NES game, yeah. But as far as like in the modern era, we've not had a Wonder Woman game. So I'm curious what shape this takes. I know a lot of people really like the Mordor games, or the Shadow of games, I should say. So yeah, I'm optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, if it's this general style of those games with a Wonder Woman paint job, sign me up.
Yeah,
those games
that
are
sounds
really,
fun.
really good.
I still need to play them.
I still need to finish Shadow of War, and our good friend Skinny hounds me about this like once a month.
Yeah, he really loves that game.
He does. Next up, Alan Wake 2,
Yeah.
set to come out in 2023.
Again, this was indicative of the good start this had. It's like, okay,
these are big announcements.
yeah, like I have no ties to the Alan Wake series, but I know a lot of people who do, and we're really pumped for this. And the fact that it wasn't the remake was surprising. It was like, oh no, wait,
Well,
this
I
is
like
a new
that red herring nature of it.
Yeah, me too. So good for them. You said, I think, what is the most interesting point of this game existence for us, which is how does this tie into Control?
Exactly.
A game you and I both like. So we'll see if I play it, if it looks cool. I don't know that I would go back and play the first one, but maybe I'd just start here. Who knows?
My understanding is that the first one is a little more adventure-ish.
Okay.
Like it's not as gameplay driven, but I
Right.
did see like a description of this game implying that it was more of a classic survival horror game. Which, you know,
Which I think the guy from Remedy said that to Jeff Keighley, right?
was he the one that was very French?
Possibly, yeah. There was somebody that night that was like super. Oh well, the Deathloop guys were super French too.
Yeah, he was very French. There's some violently French people there.
Yeah, there was some,
And
some
good for them.
heavy, interesting accents,
Yeah.
which are always fun.
Let's see. We got to see a little more of Forspoken,
Right?
which
The Gary Whitta game.
game that I still can't render any sort of verdict about.
No clue what it is. Yeah.
Did I just completely miss the fact that there was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game as created by, you know, your friends at Gun?
Wait, what?
Did I just blow by this?
Wait, what? I didn't see this at all.
A game based on true events by Gun, the Texas Chainsaw
Are they
Massacre.
developing it? Or are they publishing it?
Oh, it was from the pre-show.
Oh.
Cool.
I'll have to reach out to Wes then.
Yeah, because we hopped in like 5 minutes before the show
Yeah, we were
proper
we
started.
had just gotten back from eating. Well, that's interesting. That should have been on the main show.
Yeah,
That's
really.
more interesting than some of the
If they'd
announcements.
have put that in like the third hour, that would have made the whole pacing of the show a little better.
Yeah. So just for the record, if it ever comes up that we talk about this game, and I'll say it anytime, I do not currently work for Gun, but I am friends with a couple of the people over there. I helped work on the marketing for Friday the 13th, the game, but it's all just basically like a friendship connection now. I don't do any work for them, but they're good folks. I like them a lot.
Yeah, and I love their games conceptually. Like I love the sort of multiplayer, you know, I guess it's like Dead by Daylight, that same kind of vibe, which I still kind of want to play Dead by Daylight.
Asynchronous multiplayer.
Yeah, that seems really cool. And this obviously
F-13 was fun. It was a fun
if this game is like a little more like refined version of Friday the 13th, I could get into it.
Yeah.
If 7 of my other friends do too.
Right.
We got to see a really wild trailer / gameplay sting for Senua's Saga Hellblade 2.
Yes. This was maybe the best looking trailer we saw all night.
Yeah, it looked nuts.
Yeah, it looked very cinematic is the word that you're going to hear describing it a lot, and that's fair.
Yeah.
The camera, you and I both noticed the camera's position was very interesting for a game.
Very.
Where it almost looked like, it kind of did the God of War thing where it's almost hard to tell where a cutscene ends and where the gameplay begins, which is always a fun thing for me. I know people love the first one. It's one of those games on Game Pass I'm going to get to eventually, but yeah. Stoked for the way this looks, and hopefully they don't pull a Watch Dogs and it actually looks like this.
Very true, very true. I have almost no thoughts other than the trailer looked kind of cool, and there was a giant baby looking man.
I was just about to say the baby with entrails leaking out of it.
That's all you need to hear. We got to see a brief trailer for Halo the TV show.
Right.
Whatever.
Cool.
We got another trailer for Elden Ring.
Yeah, that was
That was bad. Like I was really annoyed at that.
So the way they didn't just go like, you know, here's another trailer, Game Awards exclusive, whatever. Keighley was on stage, and then this little, what I'm assuming is either a child or a little person in a pot costume walks out. I don't think it was like a robot. It seemed
I actually think it was like animatronic.
Oh, was it a
because
robot? Really?
I think I saw a picture of like 4 dudes like carrying it away like after the fact.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I wasn't paying that much attention.
Yeah.
I just assumed it was a suit. So, well, anyway, this little like pot with hands and legs walks out and hands Keighley a note. And so you're like, oh, you know, FromSoft is going to say something cool here. And it's just like, here's another trailer for Elden Ring.
Yeah.
And this game comes out in like, what, 2 months?
2 months-ish, yeah.
And people have already played it. Like, it feels too late to have a trailer like this. It was weird.
Yeah, it was its placement on the show that made it bad because we were nearing the One More Thing part of the show.
Yeah, it was like the last
It was the
third.
last proper game trailer.
Was it really?
Well, then because the last thing was the Matrix thing, which we'll
Right.
talk about.
Yeah.
But it was the last, as far as I remember, full-on game trailer. And then, out comes this pot, which is in the 15-minute Elden Ring demo that came out a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I knew what this was.
Right. I figured
but then
that's
you
what it
see
was.
it and you hope you're like, okay, this is probably Elden Ring, but could be doing some trickery here.
Yeah.
And Keeley, we assumed was, all about his showmanship and was
Right.
maybe trying to pull a fast one on us, but
Yeah.
ended up being just another cinematic, which, especially the fact that it was a purely cinematic trailer after we have received 15 minutes of literal gameplay.
And people streaming the first hour.
I didn't need any more marketing materials for this game at all.
Right.
And then we get this. So I'm no less excited for the game. It just sort of deflated me in the context of this show.
Sure.
Sonic Frontiers, though.
Sonic Breath of the Wild,
Gets
baby.
you a little excited. It's funny to me, like, just how much these Nintendo and Sega trailers are just aping the shit out of Breath of the Wild.
Oh, yeah.
And the camera shot that comes from behind
Yep.
and pans up to a
Sweeps
big
through.
vista. Like,
Yep.
there was one of those in this trailer, and I'm just like, you know what? Fine. Because it's almost like that camera shot is just now indicative of telling you, here's the way this game is going to operate.
Yes, this game is like Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I like Sonic.
Yeah, you like Sonic more than I do, but as far as a new Sonic game that could appeal to me, aping mechanics of Breath of the Wild is a pretty good start.
Yeah. And now everybody's favorite trailer
Uh-oh.
was for the undeniable best name in video game history, Slitterhead.
Yeah, this was a running joke throughout the night. I'm sure it wasn't alone in just our stream, but yeah, Slitterhead. I don't even remember. It was like a horror. It was a Silent Hill thing, right?
Yeah, it was, and it wasn't. It was the creator of Silent
Right,
Hill.
yes.
Making like a different game, new IP.
Should be mentioned. Slitterhead, same initials as Silent Hill, SH.
Sure, this is a compound word.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But yeah, it was like I don't even know how to describe it. It was like weird people or weird monsters presenting themselves as humans.
Yeah, like
and
a
then
mimic type
expanding
thing.
into like big like spider skeleton monster
It
things.
looked horror action-ish, if I had to say.
Yeah, that's true. It looked a little more fast paced than a typical horror game.
Yeah.
And thematically, it's not as like dark and grim. It's sort of like
Ghostwire Tokyo?
yes, exactly. That sort of neon, big urban cyberpunky.
Yeah,
sort of
modern
cityscape.
Japan
Yeah.
meets horror, yeah.
So definitely, yeah, Ghostwire is probably my most direct comparison, but it
Sure.
just pushed the horror aspect even further.
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to play it,
No,
especially because it's called Slitterhead.
it sounds like such a slur.
It does, and I kind of love it for that, but because it's not an actual slur, it's just it's a word you can say that feels wrong.
You fucking slitterhead. Like, what?
Lord of the Rings Gollum, whatever.
Yeah, this game looks weird. So we've known about this game for a little while now.
Yeah.
I forget who's developing it, but the Gollum.
It's Daedalic Entertainment.
I've heard of them for something. They developed something else, but the main problem I have with this game, A, Gollum standalone game, already pretty big jump, but B, Gollum looks too cute. It's like, I know that's a weird, because Gollum looks freaky, but he's like endearing looking instead of just straight up weird.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you're going to do a Gollum game, you have to just embrace the Gollum from the movies.
Sure.
So I don't like that, and that completely took me out of it. Also, I don't know what the gameplay of this game is going to be like.
It reminds me of that game, Styx.
Yeah.
Where there's that little goblin
Styx,
looking,
Lord of Darkness, I
something-
think
or
was the
Shadows,
subtitle.
like
Yeah.
something weird like that.
There's some subtitle.
But it's just this little goblin dude sort of doing things from stealth and like climbing above people, and like you never like did straight up combat. It was
Right.
all like setting traps and being
Yeah.
stealthy. That if I had
It's
to predict,
Thief.
yes, it's very much going to be a game in that vein. If I had to guess,
I'm going to look up who Daedalic is.
go right ahead. Because the next one, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which we thirsted over Ashley Birch for a few seconds, and then we got over ourselves.
We did. She looked very good.
She did. Because we've talked to both about our different sort of aversions towards the Borderlands series. Yours is
Motion
physical.
sickness, yeah.
Mine is emotional. You get motion sick. I get bored.
Yeah.
Like, it's that sort of thing. See, we got the Among Us VR, which was very strange.
That looked terrifying.
It did.
Okay, so Daedalic has done a lot of smaller stuff. They did Felix the Reaper, which is a game I've heard of. They did a game that was popular on Twitch for a hot second called Witch It.
That also sounds like a slur.
It does. You Witch It. There was another. Oh, Shadow Tactics. They do those games. Okay. So they've done a lot of smaller stuff, looks like. Gotcha. But this is maybe their biggest game.
We also had Telltale's Star Trek Resurgence, which
right.
This is a bad idea.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
And I sort of voiced this on the show. Mm-hmm. Star Trek is too like serious sci-fi, and that does not appeal to Telltale's strengths for me.
Right. Well, at least the J.J. Abrams movies are very serious, or can be very serious.
No, I'm thinking more like the original series.
Thinking the show? Okay.
Yeah, like when it was like space politics.
Right.
Whereas
okay. Yeah.
I love the modern movies. In fact, I just showed my girlfriend the opening scene of Star Trek 1 yesterday.
Wow.
Because I wanted to convince her that her like predilections about Star Wars or Star Trek were incorrect. Because I feel like most people think of Star Trek as the nerdier cousin of Star Wars, which
It's
not
fair.
untrue.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because that really is the vibe of like the old show and Next Generation is it's a lot of just talking.
Yeah.
And sort of debating like the morality of some of the things that people are doing, and there's not a lot of action. But I love the modern movies because it's that plus action and like vibrant characters.
Sure.
I love those movies.
Yeah.
Star Trek and Star Trek Into Darkness better than every Star Wars movie, and I'm throwing it out there.
Star Trek 1 is better than every Star Wars movie? Oh, okay. I disagree with that. Into Darkness is great.
For my taste.
that is a hot take.
I know.
I mean, I love Into Darkness. I would still say there are a couple Star Wars I'd put ahead of it. I don't completely disagree with you because I think Star Wars as movies are a little overrated.
Yep.
But like the cool thing about Star Wars is the world and the all of the stuff going on. The actual films themselves can be hit or miss.
Yeah.
And I implore everyone to go back and watch A New Hope as an adult and realize, holy shit, that movie is so slow.
The acting is bad.
Everything you think happens in New Hope is about 15 minutes of about 2.5 hour movie. Yeah. It's ridiculous. But like Empire is still great. And then we both love Rogue One. This is weird. Telltale, I thought they died. I didn't know.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of shit going
on. They lost
their
financing and then someone else bought them. I don't understand exactly what happened there, but, for them to come back with this, it just feels like you said, it feels like the wrong franchise. And I know some Star Trek episodes, and I guess as the series went on, it got progressively sillier. Like once you had like the Next Generation type stuff.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people compare Star Trek episodes to like Twilight Zone sometimes, where it would basically just be like, this is the main cast, but here's something completely different.
Yep. Almost
like a Monster of the Week type thing, but writ large, and it's almost like Concept of the Week, which is cool. That's an interesting thing. But I don't know. My trust for Telltale completely went off the cliff.
Yeah, it evaporated.
Especially with Telltale Batman. That game was bad. Like the first, I've not played the second season. The first season was legitimately a bad game. The story was weird. The villain reveal was one of the funniest things unintentionally I've ever seen because it was bizarre. Like it just seems like their glory days caught up to them very quickly. And yeah, I don't have much hope for this game.
For a studio with, they were making games that at the time the engine was capable enough and they were telling damn good stories with both Walking Dead seasons, with Tales of the Borderlands,
with Wolf Among Us.
And then it just fell off a cliff. New generation of consoles came around and everybody just sort of like, I think culturally we just sort of got over their games.
Yeah, it was exactly. It was a fun phenomenon while it lasted, and the stories were cool, and it was cool to see them bring franchises to games that hadn't been there before, like Fables or even like with the Game of Thrones game was decently well received, I think. But like you said, their format doesn't really work, and their engine just has shown itself to be bad. I think with Walking Dead Season 1, even then, the engine wasn't great, but it was on PS3 and Xbox 360 to where half the time we couldn't tell if it was the console or the game, and it was like, this story is so good we can overlook all these glitches, and now the glitches have caught up and the story's not that great anymore either. So
I'm going to skip around here because some of the remaining announcements were either smaller or from the pre-show that we didn't catch, but I'm glad we caught the gun one because it actually is interesting.
Yeah, I'll have to look
But I definitely want to skip to The Matrix Resurrections and Awakens that ended the show.
Yes.
Because I wish it hadn't.
Yes.
Even though, and I've heard good things about the
too.
Matrix Awakens experience. People saying it's one of the most next gen things they've touched so far.
I've seen similar. We even had a buddy Lycan who was playing it as we were wrapping up and was like, "Holy shit, you all need to play this."
Yeah, which intrigues me.
Yeah, I'm gonna stream it at some point, I'm sure.
But I'm gonna circle back to this.
Okay.
Much later in the show.
Okay.
But I was really annoyed that this was the last thing shown.
Yeah.
Because it's not a game.
Right. It's an experience.
And even the Matrix Resurrections as a movie, I'm like, I feel like the Matrix Awakens wouldn't have ended the show if they did not also have the sneak preview of the movie and a video from Keanu and Carrie-Anne Moss, as though that was the most important thing shown all night.
Which this is maybe just a thing Game Awards does now, because if you remember, Vin Diesel ended the show last year with the whatever that Fast and the Furious experience thing was. Do you remember this?
Wasn't that 2 years ago?
Was that that long ago?
I think so.
What did
because that was a full game, and the game was ass from what I heard.
Right. What was the end of the show last year then?
Honestly, I can't recall.
They might have just ended it on
because it was virtual last year.
Oh,
but
right.
Vin Diesel was in the Arc 2 trailer.
Yes, he was. Yeah,
so we got a lot of Vin Diesel recently at the Game Awards.
The last time there was an in-person show was so. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna. Do we have a set block where we're gonna talk about just the show writ large, or should I just?
Not in this current one. So go ahead and give me your thoughts.
So I was just gonna say, the Game Awards needs to decide what it is. I think this is the biggest problem it has. It doesn't know whether it wants to be like Winter E3 with a smattering of Game Awards, or if it wants to be some sort of like Hollywood version of video games with all these like celebrity crossovers. And I think they're thinking, and we're just going to pin it on Jeff Keighley because he's the creator. Yeah. I think Keighley's thinking is that he wants to legitimize video games, and that's why he brings in your Keanus, your Carrie-Anne Mosses, your Vin Diesels, your Imagine Dragons, whatever. He wants to. He clearly wants to put the Game Awards on the same level as the Oscars and the Grammys and all those things. Which, fine, whatever. I would argue for video games it kind of already is. Like, you don't need to do that anymore.
I mean, in a sense.
But at the same time, you're alienating your core gaming audience by doing this crossover stuff all the time.
Yeah.
But it's different. Keanu, I think, gets a pass because he's been in so many games now and like obviously loves the industry.
To the audience.
But bringing in, no one is there to watch the Game Awards for the Imagine Dragons and JID performance. Yeah. They're just not. Like, that's the kind of stuff that, and it was a song from Arcane, maybe Epic or whoever owns League, maybe Riot, sorry, that's who that is. Maybe Riot was like, hey, we'll pay you if you have this musical performance, whatever. Maybe that's what it is. And maybe it's just a giant corporate advertisement, and I'm sure that's part of it. But at the same time, you're going to lose your audience if it's just a 3-hour commercial.
Yeah.
You need substance. You need big announcements. And I know not every year you can have big announcements. I get that. But just the announcements they choose, the length they go, that is the other biggest problem, where this show should at least just be 2 hours. 3 hours is far too long. There's always, like, we watched this show enough that you and I were like, okay, whenever the show hits its lull, because we know it will, we're just going to start talking about whatever, because this always happens. Make it 2 hours, condense it down, and be more selective about what's on your stage. I think that's what they need to do.
And I'll circle back to it a little bit at the end because my recommendation has to do with this. So we might have another blurb about it at the end. So I'll even save my thoughts for that moment.
Okay.
But wrap up a few of the extra things. Rumbleverse, weird looking Fortnite combat battle royale thing in a city.
Knockout City Wrestling.
Cool enough. Apparently The Expanse is also getting a Telltale series.
What?
They apparently are overextending themselves.
Yet again, as they always do.
And I think we've reached a lot of the pre-show trailers. Let's see. There was the Cuphead DLC, which you were into.
Yeah, looks cool. I wish it was just a new game.
Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the movie trailer.
Right. That little
shout out to whatever the hell Jim Carrey was doing.
Yeah.
Talking in a Scottish accent.
What did he say? Like, don't
grab the grape. I don't know.
It was something about a grater. Don't grate the grater or something like that.
He just kept saying it.
Yeah, and like it was supposed to be funny, I guess. I don't know. At least, what's his face? The guy
Ben Schwartz.
Ben Schwartz. He tried.
He did.
I commend him for trying.
I'd say most people on the stage that night tried.
Yeah, I would say
and
so.
only a hit or miss succeeded.
Yeah.
That was pretty much it for all that stuff.
All right.
So, yeah, a lot of they swung a lot and hit a
Did
few.
they though? It was a lot of bunts. If we're continuing
true.
that comparison,
They swung a lot early.
yeah, yeah, they were trying to get on the board and then just tried to get their batting average up at the end because a lot of the trailers I don't even remember. Like I don't remember outside of what we talked about now.
Yeah.
I don't know that I can name. Back for Blood, I think not Back for Blood. GTFO had a featured segment, and I only remember that because I felt bad for the guy because he was nervous very clearly.
Oh, he was very nervous.
And I always feel really bad for anybody who gets nervous in that situation.
I felt good that his game looked pretty good though.
Yeah, I also. It's funny that you and I both went into this probably the least we've cared about the games who were nominated outside of Returnal, which was a big part of it. I think that might have just been the year as a whole. Not saying it's been the weakest year for games
No, it's
ever,
been solid.
but it's not been like a standout year like last year was, or a few years before. So that's one of the things too. The awards also have taken the biggest back seat I think maybe that they've ever taken.
Finish this thought.
Just in the award show history, like it didn't feel like many awards got awarded at all, and people got cut off on their speeches early. And yeah.
Speaking of the awards,
Oh, hey.
here's a few of the winners.
Okay.
The main ones that we care about.
Sure.
Game of the year. In the arguably the upset of the night,
Oh, yeah.
Takes Two took the Game of the Year award, which my theory at the time was they're going to give it to the couch co-op game because in the year of COVID, this is just one of those games that was designed to bring people together.
Right.
It was a little bit of a sentimental pick, and obviously it's Joseph Ferris, who is a Game Awards like side character at this point.
If anyone has been elevated by this show,
Very much
not
him.
named Jeff Keighley or Hideo Kojima, it's him. Yeah, this was a shocker. I've not played It Takes Two. I've not played a lot of the games. We talked about this last week that were nominated for Game of the Year, but critically, other games did better than It Takes Two did. I think you're right on the sentimental pick. I also think, I don't know exactly how many people vote in this, but I imagine this game has pretty good universal appeal. I know they bring in other people from other countries as well. This kind of thing seems like it would translate better maybe than like a Deathloop could, or something like that. The sort of everyone can play it side of it, right? Where like families could play it together, or couples could play it together. It has a universal quality to it that some other games may not. But yeah, I don't think we've ever seen a game that you could arguably say is a family game win Game of the Year.
Sure.
I mean, Overwatch, I guess. I don't know if that's really a family game.
I would.
So yeah, it was a surprising pick. Good for them. I don't really have a vested interest, so.
Yeah, I've seen a lot. The critics that I follow, and probably the ones that we mutually follow, have expressed a lot of good things about It Takes Two. So I'm not surprised that it had a lot of support. I'm just surprised that it actually won.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Best game direction was taken by Deathloop.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Surprising. I wonder how many times a game has won direction and not Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Because I think Last of Us 2, which was Game of the Year last year, won both.
Yeah.
Because Druckmann presented Director of the Year this year. I want to say God of War won both. I'm not sure. I want to say Red Dead 2. Wait, no. Was Red Dead 2 and God of War the same year?
Yeah. No?
No.
Red Dead was
2
a year later.
Was 2018, right? God of War
was 2018.
Red Dead 2 was 2019?
I think.
Anyway,
time doesn't exist.
Yeah, for real. So yeah, that's an interesting takeaway, but cool.
Best narrative, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Makes me excited to continue playing it. It was a good start. Just haven't had a ton of time. We'll be playing it more in the coming weeks.
On Guardians of the Galaxy, my buddy Chubbigans, David, who makes the Cooks Are Delicious series, he said that might be his game of the generation.
Wow.
He loved it and was like, I never play games twice and I might play it again.
I don't think the gameplay is enthralling enough for me to even predict it going even close to that far.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see where the story goes.
Yeah.
Best art direction, also Deathloop.
Makes sense. The trailers were like gorgeous.
Best score / music, Near Replicant version 1.224744871139.
You love saying the whole title.
I do.
Yeah, we were a little bummed that what was the game that was nominated that we wanted to win?
I mean, for me, it was Guardians. Returnal was not nominated for this one.
Artful Escape was.
You were into Artful Escape.
Just because, like, yeah, let an indie win it. But Nier music is really good.
Here's the one. Best audio design. We were bummed that Returnal didn't win it, and Forza Horizon 5 did.
Yeah.
Because the audio design in Returnal is amazing.
It's so good.
Best performance went to Maggie Robertson as Lady Dimitrescu in Resident Evil Village.
Which, well deserved.
Fun pick.
Yeah.
Good for her.
And as you said, a very striking looking person.
Exactly. I know I had seen like an interview video of her before, but seeing her standing up and having like a very striking face and being so tall, like just, you were designed to play someone in something.
Yeah.
Games for Impact, Life is Strange True Colors.
Okay.
Best ongoing game, Final Fantasy XIV, which you predicted on our last podcast.
Nailed that one. I also nailed the fighting game one.
Best indie game, which it was funny to me as we went through this that you're like, not an indie game, not an indie game, not an indie game.
I had a little inside help on that one. That 4 of the indie games were okay. So,
well, the nominees were 12 Minutes,
which was published by Annapurna, which you could argue is not indie, and also funded by Microsoft.
Death's Door,
published by Devolver. At this point, are they indie anymore?
Inscription,
published by Devolver.
Loop Hero,
published by Devolver.
And then the winner, Kenna Bridge of Spirits,
which was given money by Sony.
It was basically a second party Sony game.
So it's like, are any of these games indie? I think we're at the point though. Devolver publishes enough games; they are no longer indie.
Yeah, they're basically just I don't even know what
they're just a smaller publisher.
Yeah, the underground AAA.
Yeah, exactly. They're AA.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Annapurna.
Kenna also won Best Debut Indie Game because those awards, that should probably just be one award.
Yeah, I don't know why that's a separate.
Best mobile game, Genshin Impact.
Okay.
Best AR or VR game, Resident Evil 4. We were rooting for Hitman.
Yeah, poor Hitman. Hitman got robbed.
It did.
It didn't get nominated for much.
That's the thing. It should have been nominated for way more things.
Yes. At least best, like, shooter or action game or whatever category it would fall under.
And we were actually taken aback by this a little bit. Innovation in accessibility won by Forza Horizon 5 for having a sign language interpreter available on screen during the game.
That's awesome.
That is really cool.
Maybe one of the most exciting announcements we found was the fact that this game had a sign language interpreter. We're like, holy shit, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Another thing that you and I touted as one of the best reveals of the night was that one chick was 58 years old.
Oh, the chick from Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian, whose name escapes me. But then I pointed out that she was born 2 days before JFK's assassination.
And she's gorgeous.
Further evidence that time doesn't exist.
Yes.
Yeah, I looked at her and I was like, you could be 33.
Yeah.
Like, you could be 25 years younger than you are.
Ming-Na Wen is her name. Google
her, you will not believe
she does not look 58
years old.
Yeah, she looks incredible. And a great voice. I want her to voice act somebody.
Best action game, here's where Returnal got the nod.
Yay!
So glad it got something. We love Returnal.
Yeah, we do.
Still our personal game of the years.
Yep.
Nothing's dethroned it. Best action adventure, Metroid Dread.
Yeah, good for them.
Good for them. Was rooting for Guardians here, but good for Metroid Dread. I'm sort of enjoying just the resurgence of Metroidvania as a genre.
Yeah.
So glad to see that. Best RPG, Tales of Arise. Cool.
Yep.
Best fighting game, Guilty Gear Strive, which you predicted.
I have a few very diehard Guilty Gear fans.
Best family game, also It Takes Two.
Yep.
Best sports/racing game, Forza Horizon 5. Understandable.
Yeah, people love that one.
Best sim, Age of Empires 4. Could be any sim that's ever come out. That could have come out 25 years ago and I'd have believed you.
Yep.
Best multiplayer game, also It Takes Two. So they kind of racked
Yeah,
up.
they had a good night.
Content creator, Dream.
Not
rooting for Simp, even though he wasn't nominated.
No, not our boy, the Grefka.
The Grefka. Yeah, we were rooting for him as well. Best esports athlete, Alexander Simple Kosteliev.
Oh, that's Simp, isn't it? Or is that Simple?
This is where Simp was nominated.
Gotcha.
Chris Simp Lear.
Yeah, shout out to Simp.
Not even going to read the esports ones. Who cares?
Yeah, we're good.
And then most anticipated game, Elden Ring.
Which kind of surprised me.
It is a little surprising. It's mostly just a Game Awards meme at this point.
Yeah.
For it to be like any FromSoft game to be the big announcement.
FromSoft or Kojima, if any of those games are there.
As much as I'm looking forward to Elden Ring, I'm looking forward to God of War Ragnarok more.
Yes, same here.
And then the other nominees, I'm excited for all of them.
Yeah.
With the maybe exception, well, we talked about Horizon and sort of how we're continually sort of like, well,
that's a great way to. Yeah, you and I are both we're both gonna play it.
Yeah,
but
and it's gonna be good.
But we're both a little hesitant.
Yeah,
I think.
I just don't know. I don't see them being able to do anything with that game that just blows my hair back. You know?
Yeah.
And then Starfield was also nominated, which
when is that game coming out?
11/11/22.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
So it's next year because it's the 11th anniversary ish of Skyrim.
Right.
So cool, but still don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So that was all of the Game Awards stuff.
All right.
And then our second and only other story.
Okay, yeah.
Sony is reportedly working on a Game Pass competitor codenamed Spartacus.
I love that people are saying that this is going to be called Spartacus. I'm like,
it's not.
It is not going to be called PlayStation Spartacus. I will bet my entire life that it's not called Spartacus. They always have these code names. Cool.
Cool, yeah.
We've wanted this forever. Curious what they'll call it. Curious what they'll brand it. Curious how... I'm assuming if you're a PlayStation Now sub, it will just roll over.
I'm just assuming they're just going to integrate the two services. That PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now are going to become the new whatever this ends up being called.
Right. I just wonder if you have a subscription to one of those, what happens to it. But
sure.
that's
fair.
The nitty gritty. Yeah, I hope. What do you want this to look like? I guess is my question for you.
I mean, in order for it to be a proper competitor to Game Pass, at least some first-party games are going to need to come to the subscription service day one.
Yeah,
like you can't do that without doing this. Like those two things are not. It is not a competitor to Game Pass if you don't do that.
Right. Agreed.
And then my only other concern is just it needs to be priced at a reasonable point, because I think right now PlayStation Plus and PS Now are still a good deal for like paying for them for like a whole year subscription. Yeah. But you bundle them, reduce the price a little bit, because that also, I mean, Game Pass is just unreal in terms of value.
Yeah.
You need to price it at like $10 to $15 a month.
Yep.
And yeah, give us proper AAA games periodically. Put the entire PS Now library on there. Put the entire PS Plus collection that they've been slowly building since the release of PS5 on there. And yeah, it's not much else you can do at this point.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you. I think the big thing, they have to put their exclusives there.
Yeah.
They have to go, and you know, who knows when this comes out if they're working on it right now, but if they say, hey, God of War Ragnarok is day one on PlayStation Universe or whatever they call it, like that is massive, and that's going to get a ton of people to sign up. Obviously, Game Pass is a huge value to both of us just from the outside looking in. I mean, I have it right now for PC, but also, it clearly works because Xbox has been making a shit ton of money off of it. It was one of those things where it's like, nah, people won't subscribe long enough. They'll just subscribe for the 1 month and then play through it or whatever. Nah, this thing is making money. So I hope PlayStation pursues it, because I think for the consumer, it is the best deal in video games. Yep. So if we get more of those great deals, cool with it. So yeah, I'm super hopeful. Sony's smart. Hopefully they'll figure out the one thing that kind of Xbox has over them right now. So
what could it be called? My only theory right now is that, okay, so if it's going to be a Game Pass competitor, they're not going to call it PlayStation Game Pass.
Sure.
But like something else that sort of implies that like this is your, you know, pathway to all of these games. I could see them calling it something like Play Ticket. Like here is your Play Ticket and you get all these games with your admission. You know? Yeah. I don't know. They're not going to call it something weird. They're not going to call it something like, even if it's not Spartacus,
it's not
going to be
PlayStation Spartacus. Yeah, it's PlayStation Icarus.
So, that is all for the news.
Okay.
And our big topic today, it's a fun one.
Okay.
I have curated, and by me I mean the two people who wrote these two articles.
Okay.
Video game food and drinks for your next holiday party.
You got a bottle opener?
I sure do.
Thank you.
So, I've got two articles here. And one is for drinks, one is for food.
Okay.
And they are drinks and food inspired by video games. And obviously, it is the holiday season. People are going to have Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, New Year's parties coming up of all varieties.
Sure.
So, if you are so inclined to have food or drink inspired by video games, well, I got the list for you right here. So we're just going to I've got the ingredients for all these stuff, so we're just going to kind of review and see if these things sound good.
All right.
And we're going to lead off with the drinks.
Yeah.
As would be in theme with this podcast.
Sure.
So, this is from Fandoms, as written by someone simply named Joshua.
Okay.
The 10 best alcoholic cocktails named after video game characters, which is not even entirely true because the first cocktail is the Rainbow Road.
Okay.
So, obviously, from Super Mario Kart, and the ingredients of which this cocktail is, you'll need 2 ounces of blue curacao,
Okay.
4 ounces of orange juice, 3 ounces of vodka, a half ounce of gin, a third ounce of grenadine, and another third ounce of rum. And it is a layered cocktail, so it will look, you know, like a rainbow.
Yeah.
And as is the case with any layered cocktail, you should not drink it layered. You
No,
should mix
please
it up.
stir it, yeah.
You look at it, you say, that looks pretty, and then you mix it.
Yeah.
And this just sounds like a very classic sort of like fruity
Yeah.
drink.
Like a jazzed up sort of, not tequila sunrise, but it's got a lot of those elements. It's,
Yeah.
you know, like a beach drink.
And
Sounds decent.
My take here is that there's not enough room or time at a holiday party for someone to sit there and make a bunch of layered cocktails.
Great point.
Because you have to make them one at a time.
Yeah.
So for a party situation, this one's a no-go. The next one, the Golden Chocobo
Okay.
from Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
And sounds really good for a holiday occasion. You need ginger ale, a half shot of Goldschlager,
Okay.
which is a cinnamon liqueur, which I learned recently.
I didn't know that.
And another half shot of American Honey Wild Turkey or
Ooh.
some other honey flavored whiskey.
Right.
Let's see. You just mix the cinnamon liqueur and the American honey and pour it in a clear glass and then add ginger ale. I could get behind that.
That sounds pretty good. Yeah.
And for like ginger and cinnamon is very, wintry.
Right. Yeah.
I could dig this.
You and I both love ginger ale.
And this one seems like it could be made in like a punch format.
Sure. Or
So-
fairly easily drink by
Yeah.
drink.
So a larger serve situation.
Yeah.
So
I like this one.
I like this one. The next one from Assassin's Creed, the Shirley Templar.
That's very good. I enjoyed that.
So it's basically just a Shirley Temple. You need 1.5 ounces of grenadine, ginger ale, 1.5 ounces of gin, Sprite, and 1 maraschino cherry.
Sounds delicious.
So it's just your classic Shirley Temple, but it's called the Shirley Templar.
Great.
Basically.
Love it.
Could get behind that. The next one sounds infinitely less appetizing.
Oh, no.
From Minecraft, the Dirt Block.
Okay.
Let's see. You'll need 1.5 ounces of amaretto,
Okay.
3 ounces of chocolate milk,
Knew that's where it was going, and I'm out.
1.5 ounces of French vanilla Kahlua, and some Oreo cookie crumbles.
Oh, that sounds.
So this is just, it's kind of like a mudslide.
Yeah.
But
I don't want alcoholic milk ever.
yeah, I know. Like,
It's not my thing.
I don't know. I like eggnog, but
See, I'm not an eggnog guy.
I don't begrudge anyone for not liking it.
Sure.
But I really love like rich, like vanilla, creamy stuff.
Yeah.
So I
need
can get
to have
behind it.
good eggnog. I don't know if I've ever had good
I want to
eggnog.
make it.
Yeah.
I've never made it. The stuff out of the carton is fine, but it also feels like you're drinking like a 10-pound dumbbell. That's how heavy it is.
Do you remember that time we bought some?
We bought that Evan Williams.
Yeah, we
that
bought
stuff was
Evan Williams pre-made.
awful.
It was the grossest thing I've ever tried. It was so gross.
I would rather buy the kind that's like out of a carton and then mix it with
Yourself,
like rum
yeah.
or bourbon.
Yeah.
No,
It was pre-mixed and it sat in our fridge for like
Ugh.
2 years until we moved and I threw it away.
yeah, it was bad.
No one wanted it.
Next up, the Street Fighter. You only need 1 ounce of Southern Comfort,
Okay.
1/4 ounce of grenadine,
All right.
and 1/4 ounce of Kahlua.
That sounds pretty good.
It does.
Sounds easy.
Sounds a little strong,
Yeah, but that's fine. It's a party.
But Southern Comfort's not like, it's kind of high proof for something that's like the main ingredient, but it in itself is not that high proof, so it's kind of a wash.
yeah.
Yeah, I can get behind that one.
Yeah, why not?
Then you have the Joining from Dragon Age Origins, which I'm already out on just because of the game that it's from. But to make this, you'll need a splash of 151 rum,
Okay, so strong stuff.
1.5 ounces of dark rum,
Oh.
and another 1.5 ounces of something I've never heard of, Hypnotic, which
No, I don't know.
I don't even know what Hypnotic is, and I don't even care to look it up.
I'm going to look it up.
You can look it up. And here's the interesting thing. It's spelled HPNOTIC. Notiq.
Wait, I have seen this before.
Interesting.
It's like bright blue, I want to say. Yeah, it's this thing.
Good pull.
This, we looked it up on stream one time. It is a... The Wikipedia just says Hypnotic is an alcoholic beverage. It is native to New York, but bottled in France by Heaven Hill.
Oh.
Made from fruit juices, vodka, and cognac. It's 34 proof.
God, so that plus just a bunch of rum.
So it's all alcoholic.
Pretty much.
That sounds strong as
That
shit.
is stout. No thanks. Then we have the Call of Duty frag grenade shot.
Okay.
So this is a shot. This is not a cocktail.
Sure.
You need Bailey's. Oh my God, this sounds awful.
Oh no.
Wait, what? Bailey's, limoncello, Jaeger, some kind of energy drink, creme de menthe,
What?
and black vodka.
Oh my God, that sounds disgusting.
No wonder it's called the frag grenade.
What
Like,
is
it just
black vodka?
beats the hell out of me. Like,
Is that like licorice vodka?
I guess.
Oh, that sounds so gross.
And they're all equal parts. So it's like
Bailey's lemon and mint already
Ugh.
just sounds awful. And then you add alcohol
Jaeger.
to it.
Like-
I forgot about Jaeger.
Jesus.
Ugh.
Yeah, no.
Don't hate yourself that
bad.
much to drink that. Jeez.
Then we have the Resident Evil, the T-Virus.
Okay.
Let's see. You need lime juice, Sprite, Gordon's, which is gin, right?
I think so.
Bombay Sapphire, which is also,
Also
gin.
gin.
Midori, Grenadine, Blue Curacao, Slow Gin. I don't even know what that SLOE.
Yeah. I've seen that before, but I don't remember what it is.
And that's it. But you need all that. So you need 3 different kinds of gin.
So it's gins and fruity stuff.
pretty much.
Sounds pretty good.
In a highball glass. Yeah, whatever.
I'd try it.
I guess it's sort of like maybe like a little fruitier version of like a gin and tonic kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which
That doesn't sound bad.
Gin and tonics are solid.
They are.
So I could maybe get behind that. Then we have the Pac-Man. Basil.
Basil Hayden or just
no,
the
basil leaves.
Okay, gotcha.
Orange. It just says orange. It doesn't say orange juice.
Basil orange.
Wait a minute.
Oh no.
Hang on. I'm starting over, and then I'm reading all these things in order because it takes a sharp left turn.
Okay.
4 basil leaves.
Yeah.
1.5 ounces of orange. 1.5 ounces of pineapple juice. 1 ounce of vodka and Parmesan cheese.
What? Wait, what?
Hold on.
Do you muddle the parm?
I'm going to read the instructions for this one.
Please.
Once these ingredients are on your table, you can go ahead and start your mix. First, grate your cheese and put it on top of the ice cubes in your glass. Then add the basil leaves to the vodka, pour it into your mix, add the juice, and then shake. After that, using a toothpick, skewer the basil leaf, small-sized tomato, and black olive.
What?
Then put it on top of your favorite cocktail glass. That's it. Just give it a good shake, and it's ready to drink. Where the fuck did those savory ingredients come
what
from?
the hell? It became a meal all of a sudden.
That was so strange.
Parmesan cheese. Ooh.
It's basically just Parmesan, pineapple, and orange. Like, that's where your flavor is.
Gross.
That is bizarre.
Yeah.
Ugh. Next up.
That transition got me.
One that sounds, or at least looks considerably better, is the Dratini. So a Pokemon cocktail.
That's a cute name for a martini.
And it looks great because it's just a blue martini with like a spray of whipped cream.
Beautiful.
To start, you just need blue curacao,
Yep.
1.5 ounces of gin, and 1.5 ounces of Hypnotic. So we're back to the Hypnotic.
Yeah.
And then it looks like it's just those things plus a little squirt of whipped cream.
That sounds great.
Good enough.
I also love calling a martini a dratini. That's really good.
Yeah.
Really good. I like that a lot.
Oh.
Did that just That's very cute.
Well, now I can really get behind it.
Yeah.
So that's all of our holiday cocktails. Next up, courtesy of Fanbite this time,
No, shout out.
and Elizabeth Hinges, we have 10 tasty video game foods you can make right now.
Oh.
So, and it looks like these foods are less inspired by games and as much as they are just food actually from games.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So we lead off with, and this sounds good, butterscotch cinnamon pie from
Yeah.
Undertale.
Oh, yeah. Duh.
So, cool.
Yeah, that sounds
Nothing wrong
great.
with that. Lava Soup from The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons.
Okay.
Let's see if it
The Game Boy game.
Oh yeah, so these are all. Feel free to go to this article. Again, 10 tasty video game foods you can make right now, courtesy of Fanbyte. They have links to all the recipes for actually making these things.
Links.
Well, I'll be damned.
I'll be go to hell.
So yeah, I don't know what the hell is in lava soup other than it looks very dark. It almost looks like, well, I guess it does look like lava. It's a very like crackly rock layered surface.
Tasty?
Why is tasty?
Bees?
Next up, the Geisal Greens smoothie from Final Fantasy 15.
Of course.
It looks very much like a sort of mint chocolate smoothie kind of situation.
Okay.
Good enough, I guess. Then we have Jurassic Pork Soup from Chrono Trigger.
Oh, it's not from a Jurassic Park game.
So it just looks like ramen.
Oh, okay. That sounds good.
I don't know what the meat. Well, I guess it's pork.
Asked and answered.
Then we have Braised River Beast from World of Warcraft, which it says in here like not the most descriptive term, but the recipe they have uses lamb shanks.
Oh, okay.
So braised lamb shanks for everybody out there.
Sounds good.
Although lamb shanks do not come from the river, so I'm just going to go ahead and call this one inaccurate.
Babish would have a field day.
Speaking of Babish has made this one, the
Oh.
sea salt popsicles from
yeah.
Kingdom Hearts,
Yeah.
which actually sound good.
They do sound good.
For some reason, light blue ice cream always looks really good.
It does. It's a very video game anime
Yeah.
type thing.
We have Stupendous Stew from Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh, the big soup that you jump in with the
it
bird.
looks like there is a 250,000 ingredients in this thing.
Yeah.
But
Makes sense.
basically it looks like a lot of vegetables just swimming in milk.
Maybe a cream-based soup.
Then we have Hot Dog Sushi from Mother 3.
Okay.
It is what it looks like, and I really hope that's not a big giant wad of wasabi on top, but actually, you know what, because I'm never going to eat this, I hope it is.
For whoever does.
Then we have Absolute Shadow Ramen from something called The World Ends With You. Don't know what that is.
Is that the Travis Touchdown, whatever those games are called?
I don't know. Does not say.
You know what I'm talking about?
Sure don't. Travis Touchdown sounds more like one of those like cartoon sports games, like featuring
It's
the one
that-
with that kid named Pablo.
Okay. Neo, The World Ends With You it's a Square Enix game.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
What is Travis Touchdown from? I swear that's a character from something.
Travis Touchdown.
Oh, No More Heroes.
Oh,
That's what I thought that was. Sorry.
Okay. I was gonna stick my guns and say like MLB Slugfest or something. And then we have the last one of the classics, the Portal Cake.
Oh, nice.
Which, if
It's
I
just a
remember
fruit
correctly,
cake, right?
It's it's some black something cake, Black Forest cake.
Oh, yeah, you're
I
right.
think
You're right.
and it's got like chocolate shavings and like cherries and all that kind of shit.
Sounds great.
And I've never played Portal,
Oh, you should.
but I know the cake is apparently a lie.
Yes, it is. Cake's a lie.
Cool. But that's it. So feel free for your party.
If
probably
you
don't
make
wanna-
one of these, share it with us.
Shout out.
Take
you
a
know,
pic.
Make a Black Forest cake and or tell us you did. But don't.
But don't. Very
because the cake is a lie.
good. Right.
Anyway, yes, feel free to tag us in any of your, or if you come up with your own, because there's
Yeah.
plenty of creativity left out there. Even if you don't want to pull one from a video game, you could make like the Assassin's Weed, and make like a
It's my favorite strain.
what is that?
What are your fingers doing?
I'm snipping. It's like scissors. The top of the little grass that people eat.
Wheat?
No, it's wheatgrass.
Oh.
Make like a wheatgrass smoothie,
Right.
and then put a knife in it.
Oh, there
and
you
call
go.
it Assassin's Weed. There you go. That's free for you out there.
There's so much value in that idea.
What is your recommendation for this week, Tanner? If you have one off the top of your head.
I do.
Okay.
I'm ready for it this time. My recommend is Video Game Donkey. I'm recommending Donkey. I was not aware that there were at least people in my community who were unaware of Donkey. So I was watching his latest video, or one of his most recent videos, was called "There's No Video Today," and it was just a black screen, and he tells this like ridiculous audiobook tale of like some guy who works at like the Frito-Lay factory getting sucked into another dimension on like a pirate ship. And it was one of the funniest things I've ever watched on stream. It was so funny. Dunkey is, so if you don't know, he's a YouTube creator. He also streams on Twitch. One of the funniest people in games, I think. Just every one of his videos is hilarious. But he also is a very good, like, critic of the games industry.
Yeah.
Has some really, like, salient points about some of his more serious, like, review videos, which I think he calls dunk views.
He does.
But then he also has, like, videos about like video game pricing or video game journalism or things like that are really, really good and smart. And then he'll go make a dumb Call of Duty video where he's just like, "Do you guys like Donkey Kong?" It's great. I love Dunkey to death. I've just been on a rabbit hole rewatching all of his stuff again, and it's fresh on the brain. So go watch his stuff. It's great.
Yeah, he is very funny. And one of the best progenitors of like Gen Z humor.
Yes.
You know? It's that very like weird, nebulous nonsense kind of humor.
Right, like absurdist.
But he's also very clever.
Yes.
Yeah, he's really solid. So my recommendation, to circle back briefly to the Game Awards stuff.
Sure.
And I think I've made one other recommendation that is less to the folks out there and more to industry type people, like recommending things to them.
Yeah.
But my recommendation to people who produce video game, conferences or shows is just don't use movies to market video games.
Yeah.
And you can sum this up to me with a very simple sentence, which is no one who is that excited about a new trailer for The Matrix or for Sonic 2 is going to go out of their way to watch a 3-minute or 3-hour long show just to see that trailer.
Agreed. Totally.
There is no additional viewers that you are gaining by putting those trailers on your show.
Yep.
You might gain new viewers by, teasing more salient video game announcements.
Sure.
But everyone who gives a shit about one of those trailers is going to watch it on Twitter.
Yep. You're totally right. You're absolutely right. And this goes back to, the larger point we were making about, like, we don't need any of this crossover shit. I know that you're trying to legitimize the awards, but it's already legitimized within video games. You don't need to make it in time. The only way you're going to legitimize yourself on the level of an Oscars or a Grammys or whatever is if you just keep doing it year over year. It doesn't matter how many celebrities you pull into it, or outside of game celebrities, I should say. All it's going to matter is if this becomes the preeminent awards of this field of art, and it is. So stop trying to make it a bigger deal than it is, because it's already a huge deal. So yeah, I think it all just speaks to the same thing of the Game Awards not knowing who they want to be and wanting to have some sort of clout that they don't need.
Yeah, which I'm not even going to go as far as to say that you shouldn't. I mean, like Sonic 2, the trailer, that has a place at the Game Awards, clearly. But making the marquee, trailer basically half be for The Matrix Resurrections,
right,
almost does more to downplay video games as a medium.
Yeah.
Because you're acting like people care more about this movie.
Yeah, you're acting like movies are still more important than video games.
So, like, maybe put that on the show. Just put it somewhere else.
Yeah, put it in the middle.
And make the main event something like Wonder Woman. Something like, if they had, not blown their load with Elden Ring. Like, something like that. That actually people care to see who are invested in this industry and not just general pop culture people.
Yeah, well said. And, like, I am the biggest nerd for movies out there. I freaking love movies to death. I don't want to see movies in my Game Awards. That's what the Oscars are for, and I don't even really watch the Oscars. Like, it's not saying that if movie trailers in the Game Awards you hate movies or gamers hate movies. It's not that. It's just not what the night's for. Like, that's just not the purpose of the event. It's
like having mashed potatoes and sweet potatoes right next to each other on the same plate. You don't mix them.
No.
You could mix maybe the corn.
Yeah, of course.
The stuffing.
Mashed potatoes and peas, maybe.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of that. But, separation of church and state.
Yeah.
2 tops of potatoes.
Video games
movies
and
movies. Yeah.
You said movies and movies.
I said, you started it. You led off, so you took my train of thought and derailed it. So, yes, I meant video games and movies, but you said movies first, or video. I don't even remember.
I said video games first.
So, yeah, I said movies, and then you were saying movies second, so I said movies twice.
Movies and movies.
Anyway, that's been episode 27. Yeah, don't even... That's another good reason for that stream to just disappear into the ether is how many stupid TikTok references we made the whole time.
What the dog doing?
Bing bong.
Bing bong.
This has been episode 27. Fuck your life. You know, if you see these dogs in your front yard, just know upstairs I'm going hard.
Yo, Ariana Grande, come to Coney Island. Take a spin on the cyclone.
I miss you. We're tapping out.